My fourth point is a question to you. Who's responsible for this new Cold War? Now, I don't ask this question because I want to say Garry Kasparov and Michael Fall should repent. And they say Stephen Cohen should be shot. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in a change of policy, which can only come from the White House. Congress could help. But we need to know what went wrong and why, or we're not going to have any rethinking and we're not going to have any new policy. And at the moment, there's no rethinking in the United States. There's a lot in the European Parliament. Now, the position of the American political media establishment is that this new Cold War is all Putin's fault. All of it, everything. We did nothing wrong. At every stage, we were virtuous and wise, and he was aggressive and a bad man. And therefore, what's to rethink? He's got to do the rethinking, not us. I disagree. And this is what's brought the opprobrium down on me of saying, because I was raised like this down in Kentucky, it's a silly adage, but it's probably true. There are two sides to every story. And these people are actually telling us no to this story of the history of American-Russian relations. There's only one side. No need to see anything through the other person's eyes. Just get out there and be a cheerleader for our side of the story. And I don't want to make too fine of a connection here, but you keep doing that and you're going to have a lot of Parises, including here in the United States. And that's why I say we have to be patriots of American national security. The reality is the Clinton administration adopted unwise policies, winner take all. And what were the consequences of these policies? Well, they were a lot. They blew the chance for a strategic partnership. But the four policies that most offended Russia, and offend them today, were the following. Obviously, the decision to expand NATO right to Russia's borders. I mean, it's a joke. We say Putin has violated the post-Cold War order of Europe. Russia was excluded from the post-Cold War order of Europe by NATO expansion. Russia was pushed somewhere out there. And Russia kept saying, hey, let's do a pan-European security arrangement, like Gorbachev and Reagan said. And we said, this is not military. This is about democracy and free trade. It's going to be great for you. Swallow your poison with a smile. And while they had no choice, they did. And then when they had a choice, not. They start pushing back. As any leader of Russia would who was sober and had support in his own country. I don't say that as a joke. He was by the end, look at the pictures. Yeltsin could barely walk. He was pushed out. He didn't resign voluntarily. Secondly, there's the absolute refusal on the part of the United States to negotiate on missile defense. Missile defense is now a NATO project. That means missile defense, building installations, whether it's on land or sea. Sea is more dangerous, whether land or sea, is now part of NATO expansion and encirclement of Russia. It's part of the same system. Russians are absolutely convinced it's targeted at their nuclear retaliatory capability. We say, oh no, it's about Iran, it's not about you. But go talk to Ted Postol at MIT. Stage 4 missile defense is an offensive weapon. It also violates the INF agreement because it can fire cruise missiles, while we're blaming the Russians for developing cruise missiles again, as they are. Because we're back in this tit-for-tat, mutual build-up arms race. Thirdly, this meddling in Russia's internal affairs in the name of democracy promotion. We've been doing this since the 90s. Vice President Biden went to Moscow University and said, Putin should not return to the presidency, and then said that directly to Putin's face. So Putin comes over here next week and tells Rubio he thinks he ought to drop out. And we say, well, okay. I mean, are there any red lines left anymore when it comes to Russia? Do we have the right to be telling them? I mean, it extends to every issue, but it certainly extends to politics. And the White House simply can't keep its mouth shut. And it's egged on by vested lobbies. We all believe in democracy, but you're not going to impose democracy on Russia. So, ask yourself two questions. Is there a Russian side of this story that needs to be considered, in the aftermath of Paris at least? And does Russia have any legitimate national interests at all in the world? And if so, what are they? And here's the bottom line. We don't lead in the world anymore, and we can't. Long before this, globalization, all sorts of developments, they're slow, they're bumper stickers, but the unipolar, monopolar world is over. There's a multipolar world emerging before our eyes, not just Russia, but in 5 or 6 capitals. And Washington's stubborn resistance to embrace this has become part of the problem, not the solution. And that's where we are today.